Salve GBA fans, it's Silks here, and welcome to week 3 of the GBA weekly recap. We are going to be going over all of the battles that happened over the past week, looking at some of the top plays and the top Pokemon, reviewing what went down.
In first place, we have the undefeated The Bullet Punch Club. Second place, we have the Chicago Dragapults at 2-1 with 7 points. The Bullet Punch Club at first with 9 points, as you can see. In third place, we have the Atlanta Victinis, also 2-1 with 7 points. Then we have the Wolverhampton Weavile, 2-1 with 5 points. Playmore Esports is going to be in 5th place with a record of 2-1 with 5 points. The Edmonton Coilers follow right behind them with 2-1 and 5 points as well. Then we have the New York Empoleon at 1-2 with 4 points. Same with the San Francisco Arcaniners, 1-2 with 4 points. Then we have the Borussia Donphan, 1-2, 3 points. Calgary Flamethrowers, 1-2 record with 3 points. The San Diego Snugglers, 1-2 with 2 points. And last but not least, we have the Copenhagen Sawsbucks at the bottom with an 0-3 record with no points.
Moving into our first battle, we have the home team, the Borussia Donphan, playing off against Playmore Esports as the away team. Moving into this battle, both teams were 1-1, so the winner of this battle would push one team further ahead in our standings. Starting the battle, the Borussia Donphan get an edge, taking out the Sandaconda with a banded Pawmot behind screens. They then carry that momentum by wounding the Kilowattrel and knocking out the Hisuian Samurai. However, Playmore is able to begin to claw back by taking out the Iron Treads with a surprise Weather Ball in the sun. Eventually, however, the stage is set for the perfect scenario for the Enamorus to set up against the Roaring Moon. But in the most pivotal moment of this battle, the Enamorus is taken down by a Sludge Wave Poison to prevent the sweep, which results in a line of turns that go entirely in the way of Playmore Esports, knocking out the remainder of the Donphan's team.
Next up, we have the match between the New York Empoleon, coached by Goldoa, and the Bullet Punch Club, coached by TheUzigunner. To kick things off between these two teams, Uzi's best play of this week would have to be the eject button Clodsire in order to gain a free switch into Dragonite. This Dragonite was able to set up and do some major damage to Goldoa's team, including being able to knock out the Garchomp. Going on to Goldoa's side, Ceruledge going in for the terrestrialization and being able to knock out the Dragonite with close combat was definitely his best play of the game. Had this not happened, this game could have been a much bigger blowout than it was. Dragonite is terrifying, and being able to take it out is always very, very impactful.
Moving into our next battle, we have the San Francisco Arcaniners as the away team, facing off against the San Diego Snugglers as our home team. The away team is desperately looking for a win here. Starting off the season 0-2, San Diego Snugglers are looking to solidify their position in the higher end of the standings, currently at a 1-1. Starting off this battle, we see both teams have some of their offensive threats weakened right away, with the Gyarados taking a Hurricane and some confusion damage from the Iron Jugulus. Meanwhile, the Annihilate takes a Terra Fire Flamethrower from the Volcarona. Throughout these exchanges, the Arcaniners do get a slight lead due to the Amoonguss being able to shrug off most of the damage with that Regenerator ability, while the Rotom Wash on the opposing side of the field has already used up its Citrus Berry and is in life support. Also, the Annihilate is then taken out. While the Snugglers do revenge the Gyarados, it allows the Regieleki to come in and set up a substitute, keeping that substitute after removing the Toedscruel from the field. Arcanine then loses most of its health, removing the substitute, but the Rotom must fall as well before the legendary Electric Titan. The Snugglers are in desperate need of a hero, and while the Palafin does get some KOs, Regieleki comes back with a substitute again to finish up the game.
Alright, and next up on our list, we have the match between the Calgary Flamethrowers and the Edmonton Coilers. For the Calgary Flamethrowers, definitely the play of the week for them was sending in their Quaquaval toward the end of the game, then being able to set up a substitute plus a bulk up, Had D.Rey not invested in defense with his Iron Valiant, this play toward the end of the game would have led to a quick Weaviles sweep and would have allowed for him to win the game. However, on the other side, top play of their week is not the defensive investment in the Iron Valiant, but rather the Donphan clicking Endeavor against the Ursaluna in Trick Room, which allowed it to then feint to burn damage that was self-inflicted. Donphan was able to take a crit facade from Ursaluna, go down to 1 HP due to its 30, click Endeavor to bring the Ursaluna down to 1 HP, and then have it feint due to its own burn damage. This was incredibly crucial because under Trick Room, Ursaluna is a monstrous offensive threat, and Del was able to deal with it very, very effectively, having it only really deal damage to the Donphan.
Next up, we have the Wolverhampton Weaviles as our home team, starting off with a strong 2-0 score, playing up against our Atlanta Victinis, the away team, entering this battle with a 1-1 record. The Wolverhampton Weaviles are looking to secure their undefeated status, but the Victinis are going to do their best to prevent that from happening. This matchup starts with an incredibly offensive beginning. Both teams start the battle getting some big damage off against either side. Knockouts shortly follow with the Dragalge, Bisharp, Rotom, Sandy Shocks, and Walking Wake all going down practically back to back. The Weaviles attempt to take out the Tornadus with a Rock Slide from Braviary. This allows Atlanta to believe they are sacking their Urshifu, but instead they bring it in on a resisted Rock Slide. This Urshifu is now in a position to knock out the Great Tusk and the Gengar, but the Gengar is also able to take Urshifu down with a Destiny Bond. But with no tools left in the shed, Atlanta takes home the victory with Skeledirge.
And next up, we have the match between the Chicago Dragapults, coached by QtheCostaRican, and the Copenhagen Sawsbucks, coached by Frosted, of course. For QtheCostaRican, absolutely his best play happened at the very beginning of the game when he stays in with his Enamorus versus the Hisuian Zoroark disguised as Iron Bundle. He stays in, is able to get a ton of damage off onto the Hisuian Zoroark, break its Focus Sash, and ends up being able to knock it out on the following turn. Very bold move. Had that just been the Iron Bundle going for something along the lines of a Specs Ice Beam, it would have been knocked out. He stayed in, was able to deal with it. For Frosted in this game, her best play of the week was definitely sending in the Talonflame to Brave Bird and knock out the boosted Dragapult. Very smart of her to be able to keep the Talonflame at full health. That way it has priority Brave Birds and Scale Wings. It's no longer priority all the time, it is only priority when it is at full health.
Thank you, GBA fans, for joining us for this edition of the Weekly Recap. Expect to see the Week 4 preview coming out soon. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.